Okay, good morning everyone. Welcome to my kitchen. My name's Janice and I'm a Thermomix consultant. So I'm starting off, just stepped into the kitchen, about to have my first sip of coffee for the day. And today we're doing a sourdough loaf. So there's been I watch a lot of YouTubes on sourdough, and just while I was getting my head around it, and I saw one that keeps popping up on all of the social media platforms, and that's a jalapeno and cheese sourdough loaf. So I'm starting off. This is my sourdough starter. Now this is my no discard sourdough starter. So it's been sitting on the bench all morning, and it's all night, and we're going to feed it. So this is how much I keep all the time, and what I'm going to do is I've lost my train of thought. What I'm going to do is I need, for the loaf of bread I'm making, I'm just making the everyday sourdough loaf that I've been making, because I've really got a good handle on that one now. And so I'm going to try and do layer the fillings in. Haven't got very many words this morning. So first thing I'm going to do is feed my starter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, because I want 300 grams of starter, I'm going to add 150 grams of flour, just bread flour. What's touching that? I have 150. Three more grams. There it is. Righty-o. And then 150 grams of water. Have a quick look and make sure our bowl is empty. Oops. Don't know why I took that whole lid off and not just... Maybe I should have had 2 or 3 sips of coffee before I started. Rightio. One more gram. There it is. There you go. Now, we're going to heat that. So we'll go back to the home screen, and I'll do 1 minute 20, 37 degrees. Speed 2. I just speed 1 or 2. Whatever it feels right, whatever feels right on the day. So, rightio. I haven't got fresh jalapenos. I don't really know. I've got pickled jalapenos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out their slice. So I'll pull out a handful. I will dry them really well, and chop them up into little bits. And I'm just going to use regular tasty cheese for the cheddar cheese. I don't know if I should be using a softer cheese, and I'm just going to cut it up into little tiny cubes. Anyway, I'll be back in a minute. Rightio. So the audio's all crackly on this, so I'm going to try a voiceover. So I've heated my water up to 37 degrees, and I'm going to add that into the flour and starter. You shouldn't go over 37 degrees because after that you can kill the yeast in your starter. Now on this jar I've got a rubber band, and that is the height that it goes to when I make a 300 gram starter. And that is just a way of checking that I've got the right quantities. I don't know, when you're cooking you seem to always have a favourite tool for everything, and I'm just going to tell you about these little skinny spatulas I got from the mix shop. I love them for stirring my starter. They are just perfect. They're really good for stirring, and they've got really sharp edges which scrape down the sides perfectly. And I did it. I don't know if I said that, but I got them from the mix shop, and I absolutely love them. Okay, so now, I mean, everyone's starter looks different because there's different hydration levels, and I mean, I haven't really gone into that too much yet. I'm still just working on the, equal quantities of flour and water. But yeah, that's the consistency I aim for with my starter, is that real gloopy, really thick stage, and as it ferments, it gets runnier. So anyway, we're gonna set that aside and let it rise until the jar's nearly full, and at that stage we'll continue on making the loaf of bread. So it's taken about 4 hours. We're in the cool. We're starting to get cooler weather now, and so usually it only takes a couple of hours, which is why I wanted to get cracking first thing this morning. It smells amazing. Rightio. I'm going to use this everyday sourdough loaf. I said that before, but this is the one that I've been using very successfully to make beautiful loaves of bread. I'm thinking that when I'm going to, fold some fillings into the bread, it doesn't tend to rise as much. With the chocolate chip one, when I did that, it definitely didn't rise as well as just regular bread. So anyway, we won't worry about that. We're going to start cooking. It says to grease a bowl with extra virgin olive oil, which I have done. Now we're going to go. Okay, so it's still got I haven't wiped it out when we warmed the water this morning. It's got a little bit of water left there from that, a few drips. So 280 grams of water. I love with the TM6 compared to the TM5 and the TM31 is the scales are in 1 gram increments. So I've got a lot better chance of pulling up before I go over. Before I weigh over, right? Yeah. So we've got 500 grams of baker's flour. I couldn't get my usual lauky flour, so I'm trying this out. It's actually not bad, it's pretty good. I just always use that wallaby flour. I do need a new bag of flour. I generally like to buy my bag of flour and then stick it in the fridge for a week or two, in the freezer for a week or two, and it seems to kill off any, I don't seem to get the problem with weevils that I do when I don't do that. I've got to grab my spatula, I've washed it up. Right. 2 teaspoons of salt. Then 300 grams of the mother dough, of the mother sourdough starter. So when I weigh up the 300 grams, I'm going to be left with that little bit. I'll just let that I had when I started, except it's fed, it's been activated. I can pop it back in the fridge until I'm ready to make my next loaf, and then I add equal quantities of flour and water to the weight of the starter that I need. Just a little bit more. I don't know that the 300 grams is, like if we only do 298, it probably won't matter that much. And that's all I'm going to put in. Rightio. And that's how much we started with this morning. So I'll tidy that up, I'll wipe the rim down, and I'll pop it back in the fridge until I'm ready to do another loaf. Now we're going to put the lid on and we're going to give that a quick mix. 10 seconds on speed 4. And now we're going to knead it for 4 minutes. Rightio? I'll be back in 4 minutes. Rightio. Now it's going to form into a ball. So what I've done is I'll put some flour on my bench. And I am going to tip this out, and I'm going to give it a really good knead up into a ball. So it doesn't say to knead it, but I have found this really improves the result. But I'm not sure when they say form up into a ball, if this is what they mean. And what I'll do is I'll run the dough mode pre-wash cycle, the pre-wash cycle. Hang on, I'll run the pre-wash mode using the dough setting. To get the most of that dough out. Rightio. I love that. Rightio. I'm going to pop that here. I'll put a tea towel over it and I'll put it over in a warm spot. And I'm I'm going to set the timer for an hour. Oh, that's 2 hours, right here. An hour, and then I'll come back and we're going to do a set of 4 stretch and folds, half hour apart. So I'm going to pop this over there and I'll be back when we're ready to do the first stretch and fold. What I've done in the meantime, I've chopped up, I've just eyeballed it. I don't know how much cheese and how many jalapenos to put in this. So I've done that much cheese all diced up into little cubes. I don't know how big to make the cubes. And then I've pulled some slices of pickled jalapenos out. And I didn't know how many, so what I've done is I've got 15 or 16, can't remember which one, because I figured that's how many slices of bread I'll get out of the loaf. I might get more, but I'll get at least that many slices. So that's just working on it. Well, I'll see how it goes. We'll test it, see if it needs more, see if it needs less. But I'll see if that's going to be the right amount of jalapenos to go in the bread. Rightio, I'll be back. So they're dry now, so I'll chop them up to little dice about the same size as them, and then I'll pop them back in the fridge until I'm ready to use them. All right, I'll be back in an hour. Rightio, so we're up to the final stretch and fold, and then what we're going to do is we're going to shape it. So I just need a bit more flour. I don't think I'm going to do that more than that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull this out into a rectangle. Now I'm trying not to deflate too much of the air that's in here. I want to do a nice big rectangle so we can get a few layers of the beautiful. And now I'm going to form the loaf. Yes, there. Okay, so what I've got here is our cheese. So I'm just going to sprinkle some of the cheese over. I don't know if I'll use all this cheese, I'll just see how we go. And I've made the cubes fairly small. Okay, so now we go. Some more of this here. Oops. Right. So I need a bit of flour. And I want to fold that under. I want to get all these all the ends all tucked up. And I'm going to try and get that as tight as I can. So I've done that super carefully so as not to knock out too much of the air. So I'll give this a good flour. I should have done that before I floured it. Doesn't matter. What I've done here is I've got my bread tin, and I've lined it just with some baking paper, so when it goes time go into the oven, I can pull that out like that and drop that into my Dutch oven. So I'll do this. In there like that, and then I'm just going to pop this aside, and this will take a few hours to rise up. And now I'm sort of into the area with you would with regular yeasted bread, in that it's the same thing. When it gets up to when it's ready to bake, if you poke it, it should spring back nearly all the way and only leave the slightest in there. I'm going to give that a really good flour so that it doesn't stick too much. Anyway, rightio. I'll be back when it's time for it to go into the oven. I'll show you what I mean by, springing back. So we'll do the poke test together. Rightio. I'll be back. So I think this is ready to go in the oven. If I poke it, hang on, comes nearly all the way back. Alright. So what I'm going to do is I'll lift this out of here like that, drop it in the, my Dutch oven is in the oven and it's preheated to 250. Let me stand here. So I'll drop this into the Dutch oven, slash it with the knifey thing, and close the door and leave it for 20 minutes. I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to do it in a closed Dutch oven, 20 minutes. At which time I'll check it, and if it's not ready, I'll give it another 10, and then it should be ready. But anyway, I'll be back when we're ready to cut it and taste it. Right, super hot. Really hot. Out of the oven, I'll have to leave it to cool. To cut, I think I scored it a bit too much before I put it in the oven. Just perfect. Can't wait to taste that. Okay. All right, we'll be back and we'll taste that tomorrow. All right, so this is our sourdough loaf. I don't know why. It's always so satisfying cutting it in half like that. And I've got a gigantic hole in the middle. Not sure what that means. There's a chart you can find. It'll tell you what all these different they call it crumb structures mean. But it's very light. You know, it's quite a light loaf of bread, so give it a taste. I think that's probably a good quantity of jalapenos. It's a really, you can taste the jalapenos, but it's not overpoweringly, burny. Maybe a tastier cheese. Other than our big hole in the middle of our loaf, I would count that a success. That is yummy. I did have a bit of a look when I was making it because it took so long to rise, to see if the acidity in the jalapenos, in the pickle juice of the jalapenos would affect the bread, and apparently yeast likes acidity, so, and I think they said you add ascorbic acid, helps your yeast, so I'm not sure, but I never know. Sometimes I am having really good success with my sourdough. But I'm still not exactly sure why I get what I've done that gives me the results I've got. Like, I get a few varying results. I no longer get the gummy bread or the dense layer here. And I think that was all underproving. So anyway, I thought I'd give it a quick toast because I ate the other half. I thought I'd just give it a quick toast to see how it toasted. And it's just, I just did it in the grill, but I love how when bread's really good, it gets that real nice golden brown toast. It doesn't char. Perfect. That would be yum. This would be yum with soup. I am going to try it under some scrambled eggs and see how I go. And I'm definitely going to try it with a toast, as a toasty. Make a toasty with it. But anyway, in the meantime, thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, could you please give it a thumbs up? Pop over to my channel and subscribe. And I really hope we'll see you next time.